So this is my basement and my sound system set up as it is today. This guy, I built them watching the Toids DIY on the JTR Noesis. I'll link that below. That sub was one of my own creation because I needed that low rumble for that 20 hertz and all that fun stuff with the movies, etc. However, these boxes do not need this guy to rock the bass and drive this house absolutely crazy like an earthquake. They're powerful. And not only are they powerful and loud, they play beautifully. My soft rock, my smooth jazz, my classical, when I'm in that mode, oh yeah. Make no mistake, they sound phenomenal. One of my best builds. And actually, crazily enough, that's my first furniture build for indoor, because I've been building outdoor boxes, DJ stuff for subwoofers and all that jazz for cars, but this is my first serious indoor furniture-esque speaker boxes. Now, why are we talking about this? Well, let me get close and show you. I made some mistakes when I was building it. A lot of mistakes, but my first big one is this. Several of my screws are not straight in. About a good half of them are angled like this. And if you know, you know. In my haste to build, right, I cut the inner too big. And like a total jackass, I didn't put the speaker to verify. I just went ahead and cut that one and one of, one of those as well. So if you were to put a light inside the enclosure, you could tell, okay, because you'll be able to see it. And on top of that, I rushed through it. I didn't sand properly, and it's rough. You can definitely tell it's rough. And it was hand cut with a scale saw, but that's no excuse, because if I took my time, it would have been smooth. I didn't. I rushed through it, and I made the mistakes, and I messed up. So I said to myself, I'm gonna repair it. But at the same time, I've been drooling over this speaker ever since I've seen it. This thing. More about that in a second. But I don't want to just, get rid of this, because, it was wood and time invested. So I think I'm gonna repair it. I have an idea how to repair the large circle. I have an idea how to take care of that one. And the sanding, that's easy. The rest of that stuff and a proper paint job, all that's is easy fix. But the whole, that's the one that's gonna give me the biggest challenge, because it's a pretty big gap, and I gotta think that one through. Now, in the meantime, I would love to build this thing as a replacement for these, since I'm in the building mode, right? Now, these are the Stenheim Ultime II. I don't even want to call these speakers. These are basically a work of art. These are probably the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I know there's lots of other speakers out there with lots of intricate designs, but there's something about these, the simplicity, the clean lines, the stance, everything about it is just beautiful. This is beyond speaker. This is just a whole nother level of magnificence. And I want one. Of course I can't afford it. You pay a couple $100s for speakers, you expect it to play nice. You pay a couple $1,000s for speakers, you expect pretty much perfection. These, on the other hand, these are 160, well, actually, they float anywhere between 160 to about $208,000. Well, depends on the price of aluminum and tariffs and shipping and all kinds of stupid stuff. They fluctuate about 40 grand. Yeah, these things fluctuate in price at basically a car. So, needless to say, I can't afford these. These are way out of my price league. However, I think I might be able to pull off the look with MDF. And I say with MDF with an underline, because these things are not made from MDF or wood. These are made from aluminum. Pure CNC machine cut aluminum. And they weigh a scale busting 509 pounds each. And if those specs weren't impressive enough, they're using professional drivers, and they're hitting 25 hertz lows and 35 kilohertz highs with a soft dome silk tweeter. bruh, as if they weren't beautiful enough and driving me crazy. So I want one. Now, it's not going to be easy because it's some intricate cuts on this thing, and there's no way I'm going to be able to replicate that exactly, but I think I have an idea how to come close, and I want to build one. I just love the look, and since I'm going to do some heavy work with my two weapons, that one and that one, I think they'll be great replacement for those two. Oh yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've been running my yap for about almost 6 minutes, but join me on this epic build as I try to make something that looks like the Stenheim Ultime II. Because, yeah, I'm definitely crazy because holy moly, that's a technical build. Oh, that's going to be a technical build. Mamma mia, help me. Now, just so we know, I'm not going out to buy new woofers for this box. I'm going to recycle my 4 current bad boys because they sound great, they work fantastic, and all I have to do is just manipulate the enclosure settings to make sure these match up nicely. Now, let's see if we can't get these specs. Let me jump on Photo P and see what I can come up with. Alright, so this one is a little bit more serious, so I took a little bit more time on this one. I still use the basic, lines, rectangles, and basically as you see here, I organized a little bit so that I could have, those sections so I could look at it later, so it helps my thought process. But simplicity itself, this is no complicated stuff. This, you can jump on Photopea and do this in probably, if you've never used a software like this before, I give you 35, maybe 40 minutes and you'll figure it out. It's not that complicated, it's pretty simple. So anyone can do this. I kept the 60 high. I had to go an additional 5-inch because my woofers are a little bit wider than your average woofers. So I had to squeeze that extra half an inch in there. And even with the extra half inch, I think I'm going to have some problem on the interior, but I'll see how that goes. This little color here is those decorative bars, which I'm most concerned about because they have a curve here. If it was just flat 45 to 45, I wouldn't be too worried about it, but it's rounded off, and that rounding off is kind of making me a little nervous. I'm not sure. The other thing was the rear vents. Their rear vents are like one here and one here. Since I'm going to be separating this guy here at this point, I'm rear venting it down here, so this woofer is going to be in a chamber by itself, and then this woofer, which is going to be here, is going to have this area and this area. It's about the same, close in cubic volume area, and then this area is going to be separated because these are paper cone woofers that I've already looked at, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go get them, and I don't want the woofer here to affect the movement on these and probably do anything with the sound. So just as a precaution, I'll say, you know what, let me just seal it off, which I think is probably for the best anyway. These 3 is the MDF sheets. I think I'm gonna need 3 or more sheets. I have a half a sheet and I have another sizable piece of MDF in the garage, so if I need additional, I'll cut from that. But this is the idea I've come up with so far. If you're wondering about this back panel B and back panel A, it's the only way I could to get the extra just one. So one of them is going to be in 2 pieces, which I'm okay with because it's fine. Because I was wondering if I should just separate this. So if I have to go into it later on, if I have to replace a woofer, I don't have to take the whole back off. I just have to take off just that section, and I might do it to actually this one as well, but again, let me see how that comes out. But this is what I have, so this is the game plan. So after doing some research, I've decided to go with these guys. This is basically the little brother to my current drivers, which is this one, the 12-inch. Now I realize the reviews don't look all that great, but I actually read the review and why the person thought they were terrible, and I can't even wrap my head around that because the big brothers are awesome, so I can't imagine the little brothers would be worse. So, and I say, you know what, I'm gonna make this purchase based on my current experience with its big brother. So I looked at it. It has all the good specs that I'm looking for in a mid-range. It's goes up in 8 kilohertz, goes down low 90. It can take 200 watts RMS. I mean, it's a pretty robust little guy. Okay, I'm loving it. What was harder to find was the tweeter. Now, after some poking around, I finally found something that got me in 30K zone. Not quite 35, but I like the look. It's nice and flat, so it will go flush against the MDF, so it will peek out back there. Because I was thinking of all these things. How do I get a tweeter to mount, a rear mount, so that it looks good and I don't have to dismantle it and any of this madness? So yeah, so that's the reason why I went with this. Well, one of the reasons. And like I said, it's 30K, so sweet. Let's see how they play together. I have no clue, but it's part of the process, right? I just want to complain that it really sucks moving massive sheets of freaking MDF by yourself. I just want to start off by whining. Whew, one more to go. So while I'm at Lowe's, I asked them to cut it down for me. This makes things a lot easier to carry. Now, once I get home, cut down the 4 sides, take those big lines, cut them down. Even that was a bit much of a maneuver because, I'm working by myself here, as you can clearly see. But, we got it done. Because those are the chunkier pieces, because they're 20 deep. Alright, so these long cuts are for the front, and I'm then going to remeasure it for the back. Just double checking, just making sure. Now these tops and bottoms, they're gonna be cut off at the same piece, plus I'm gonna cut the extra one for that interior brace because it's the same dimension, 13.5, because it's gonna slide inside. So I'll just cut it while I'm at it, and then I adjust for the length of it here. I think I'm done. She's still plugged in. Let me get that plugged out. Yeah, I do use my truck to power it. Why not, since I have it, right? Okay, so we've got the 2 front pieces, right? Cut and ready. We've got 2 sets of tops and bottoms, so 2 tops, 2 bottoms. We've got the 2 back pieces here and 4 massive sides. We have the core foundation ready. So yeah, that piece, just like you saw in the diagram, that is going to be used for the internal bracing. This is going to be cut up to be used in the rear where the back is going to be screwed in, because like I said, it has to be screwed in, right? Because you got to screw it in. So here I'm trying to mark out where I think those decorative pieces are supposed to go. It's literally all guesswork because Stenheim didn't exactly provide that detail, and this is what I initially came up with. As I took a little step back to look at it, I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. I think the top was too big of a space. I think the top needed to go up some more, so I'm probably going to adjust it a little bit. So all the measurement in the world, and I still physically have to see it. So here I am laying it out, just so I can get a good visual of what it will actually look like once everybody is in the party. I just have to. I can't help myself. I just have to. Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. Now I'm happy. And while it's out, yeah, I broke out the calipers just to measure those internal dimensions because I have a tool, so why not? Well, Stenheim didn't exactly leave me with measurements about all their specs. I've checked this thing over a few times, unless I skipped over it, which is entirely possible because I do wear glasses, so you know, it has some dimensions, but none of them say anything about the thickness of that little decorative piece. So I'm going to guesstimate the size of it just based off of the image, which, best case scenario, I use like this ruler, this pencil, and you do like a guesstimation eyeball kind of thing. And this is, like I said, oh, too thin. This is best case guesstimation, right? Kind of do that, and then I know if this is a 6.5 inch driver, which those are, and it's 5.7 on the interior, so I'm going to assume around the same number. I kind of measure my pencil against it, and like I said, this is best case guesstimation. Use my thumb to kind of mark where the thing ends and go 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5. It's about the same, so I think the ruler is around 1 inch, and what I have there is 1.5 inches. So that's gonna be my first adjustment. I'm gonna make that 1 inch, which drastically change how I do this outlook. So let me get back at you. There is nothing like, this moment when you're placing your woofers down, marking that spot. It just feels good, like you see the plan coming together. It's an awesome feeling. And yes, I put the woofer on the board every single time. It's a visual thing as much as it is a numerical thing. It just looks good, feel good. It's that motivation that keeps you going forward, because there it is, you're seeing your driver on board where it's going to be. It's a psychological thing. Now here I did some measurements, and I'm pretty sure I cut it a little too close, but it looked pretty good. But it still felt a little close to me, but we'll see. So here's the setup. I took those bits and pieces I cut yesterday, and I put 3 of them, put them underneath this, because I'm gonna sit on the garage floor on this one. Hey, these are home builds, okay? We use what we have to make things happen. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drive some nails in it. I'm gonna show you my router setup here in a second, but I just wanna give you a view of this because I don't think I'm gonna be able to do a long view. So put it back on that stand. So when I just got my router, I bought this thingy off of Amazon, of course, and it goes on the bottom of here, and it's royal garbage. Okay, don't buy this. I'm using it because I paid, I think it was like $50 or something, or 30, I don't know what it was. It was enough money, so I'm like, I'm gonna get my money out of it. And the only thing that fits in here are these finishing nails, which goes in here to hold it. The head is too big for it to fall out. There's a little bit of wiggle, just a little bit, but not enough to throw off the cut. So I'm gonna nail it in there, then I'm gonna cut off the tops and I'll put it in. I have to use my metal cutting bit to cut the little tips off, otherwise the router won't be able to fit over the top. So that's what I was explaining earlier about having to cut the tops off. So now you're measuring those inner dimensions to make sure that I cut the right spot, and you measure from the outside of the blade to that center point where it balances off. Of course, I'm double checking and triple checking because I don't want what happened to my current system to happen to this one, you know. So yeah, I'm taking a little extra precaution. I'm not even using the plunge option. I'm using the little micro adjuster for this one because yeah, I'm a little paranoid. It would have been easier to use that big plunge adapter thing. I don't even know what the right name is. It's just, you know, you just push the whole thing down because it's on springs, but I didn't want to take a chance. I want to go slow. So yeah, I've already made up my mind to use a little micro adjuster to slowly let it down as I go along. I know. I know. I know. Trust me, I know. It's completely unnecessary, but I'm sorry. I just had to because I didn't want to repeat of what happened the last time. Ooh, felt that. Project Drew Blood. Yeah. Pretty good. This nail, yeah. Clean fit. Yeah, it works. Clean fit, perfect measurement. This is one of those moments when you realize that thing is even worse than I thought. Drove the nails and I realized it can't cut the circle because yeah, the circle is too small for it. Ridiculous. So now I had to pull the nails out and go find a hole cutting saw that can fit. Thankfully, I had one already, so I didn't have to go spend any more money. And it did the job nicely, so I'm good. I was totally prepared to cut a hole for the small tweeter, but not for the 6.5, but that's okay. Part of the process. So of course, I had to kick out. These things happen. Don't beat yourself up. Just, you know, think through the process. How can you fix it? Now I plan to round over the holes. So instead of fixing the whole thing, I just came up with a brilliant idea. I'll just put some filler there so that when the round over bit, just like I'm showing now, goes into there, it doesn't bump out. So that little filler will hold the spot. I just gotta smooth it out so that it can ride smooth on the interior and then cut the outside, and it should be okay. Should. Hope. Safety note here. Please make sure you wear a mask when you're working with MDF and basically any wood, but especially MDF. Okay, you're going to do a lot of cutting. Please make sure you wear a mask. This thing, look at my garage floor. It's supposed to be black. Okay, and that's just from a few wood because I did some roundovers before, and that's just from that. I mean, it generates a lot of dust. Okay, and me, like a complete moron, I was out there without a mask for a good portion of the time, and I didn't start wearing one until later on after I started getting stuffy nose and a few things. So please don't be like that moron in the video. Just, you know, please wear a mask. Please wear a mask. And oh yeah, I don't know if I said it before. Yeah, wear a mask. Protect yourself, and you know, so you can be around for a very long time to annoy your kids and your grandkids. So I used the same 1/2 inch round over for the tweeter, but it just didn't look right. I decided to use the full 3/4 inch round over that I used for the sides, but I went a little in just softly first before I dropped it all the way down. Checked just to make sure. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. So, you know, let it all the way down, give me that full 3/4, and man, it turned out great. As of right this moment, I'm in a sweet spot. All that work last night came out. Yes, some sanding is required, because of course I had a little boo-boo here. Shh, we don't talk about that. But everything else rounded off nice. Hopefully the video came out. This will be post-edited stuff. But all the circles came out beautifully. I even made this one deeper. This is a 3/4 inch round over versus a whatchamacallit, a 1/4 inch round over. So, you know, to give it that look a little deeper, wider spread, and it just worked out swimmingly. I was even tempted to add this one to this, but it wouldn't look the same. And then I realized the actual Stenheim has a bigger opening for the tweeter. So, oh yeah, this is just dust. So right now, I could literally stop what I'm doing, build a regular box that just happened to have that general look about it, and I'll be okay. But it wouldn't be that Stenheim look, would it? Without that little decorative bar going from there and there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my problem. I have no idea how to pull that off. I'm gonna chew on this a little bit, but I just want it to be right now. As of right now, I could assemble the box and be done and be tickled happy, and everything be gravy. I just want that to be known. I just want to share that and that be known. Okay. All right, let's get to it. Just so you know, these calculations hurt my head. Not because the math was difficult. It's just all that work that was put in the day before. If I messed this up, I'd have to do all of that again. So I was a little nervous. But, you know, this was the moment. Time to put on my little El Cheapo dado blade that I picked up. Set it for, I think it was 3/16. I had measured it out to cut that first line. I'm telling you, I was sweating bullets, okay? I was sweating bullets because this is a one-shot deal. You see how many times I'm measuring this thing? Yeah, I was not a happy camper. I couldn't even get the nut on. I was that nervous. Look at me, fumbling. I was a nervous wreck because I'm about to make some cuts that I cannot undo. Oh boy, here we go. Of course, I'm not going to test it live. I cut a piece of wood round over using the same 3/4 and do a test cut on it. Moved it, and I had to do this weird angle in order for it to cut, but it seemed to work nicely. And it cut it really clean. So the idea was to cut it, move it exactly 1 inch, and then angle it and then roll it off of it as it comes out. I gotta say, this surprised me. I didn't think this was going to work, but the result was undeniable. Look at it. That's a clean cut. Now I just have to be able to replicate that on the live pieces. Did you know your truck tailgate is about the same height as the table saw? Yeah, go figure. People who make trucks must have, known there were jokers like me using it in this fashion. This was the weirdest cut I've ever made on a table saw, but it actually went really well. I was expecting problems and weirdness and maybe even a kickback, but just being gentle and just going slow, it worked out a lot easier than I thought it would have. The lines are there. Thank you, Lord. Magnificent. Wow. I mean, just wow. So when you work by yourself, you learn to use tools to help you along. This is my little corner clamp. Okay, goes here. I take the wood and I line it up ahead of time. Okay, make sure that it's all nicely lined up. All right, so when I tighten it down with the little clamps, it's going to tighten in the right spot. So I check the corners, make sure the corners are good. Okay, then I take it out and I apply my glue. All right. Now I put it on. No, I didn't just use glue. I definitely put some brad nails in to hold it as well. But I'm going to put a lot more brads in there, but this is just to hold it in place and make sure it doesn't come apart when I'm moving it around. As the bills get larger, I pay more attention to the 90-degree edges, and to make sure that everything stays square, I use a double combination. Along with my corner clamps, I also use my handy square, and the two together gives me that reassurance, that gives me that square all the time. I love it. Now, this is not how I normally assemble a speaker box, okay? But there's nothing normal about this box. So, in order to keep those lines all lined up, I've decided to assemble it in sequence, side, front, and inside. So, keeping that line going all the way around. So, I put it on the top like this. It's a little weird to balance it like this, but you know, get it all nicely lined up, get it all flush, fire a brad in there, and then do the same thing on the other side. And then just repeat when I put the other side on, just to line it up and just to keep those lines aligned. I've said line and align a lot, but you get the idea. It's coming together. It's going to take a little bit, but it's coming together. Now after that glue set, I continued the assembly with the other side, just keeping those lines, well, aligned. You're going to hear lines and align some more, I'm pretty sure, because that's a major feature, major. So I have to get it right. So I need some support for the front. And I'm going to use these 2x4s, but I need a flat edge, so I'm using my table saw to trim a piece off so I have a nice flat edge to work with. I'm using these 2x4s to support the front. I don't have it double baffled like I normally would for my 12s or my 15s, and that's making me nervous, so I'm putting this in so I have something for the front to screw into. Now this piece is in the diagram where it separates the lower woofer from the rest of the cabinet, and that's what I'm installing now. And of course, yes, it has to be square, so I check and check before I fire those brads in, and I put plenty of brads in this bad boy. Good morning, Suburbia. It's around 7:50. I'm not going to totally wake up the neighbors yet with a circular saw or anything heavy, but I will definitely be using a brad nailer here in a few. What's going on? Well, I'm concerned about the structure because, you know, this was never double baffle. I always double baffle my front. That'll disappear once I start sanding. The brad nails I'll definitely fill in. But I'm definitely concerned about the structure because the only thing holding this on right now realistically are these few brad nails here and the few brad nails that I put in yesterday that holds in this piece, and oh yeah, and a few brad nails at the very bottom, which means, oh that's right, and bits here. So the center is pretty solid, held in with the with this 2x4 that I put in yesterday. I forgot about that. Yeah, so there we go. So the center, the very top, and the very bottom. So okay, but here on the sides where the speakers are being held, I'm not happy about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brad nailer and I'm going to fire, you know, about 6 or so of these on each side. Do I want to? No, I really don't want to, but I have to. Something has to hold this thing on, and I will not be happy until something is holding onto here. I'm good here in the middle, and I'm good at the top, and I'm very good at the very bottom, but right here, and the same thing for this guy right there and right there. Now, at the very bottom piece, I'm going to put 2 more to 2x4 so I can screw it in, but, you know, right there at the edges. Now, to the back. if you saw the design, you remember the design showed, and I'm gonna put that on the screen right now. It comes out to here, right, and then goes down. Well, again, I'm concerned about the structure. I'm just, because I tell you guys, I play my speakers hard. So I'm going to extend it. I'm going to make the thing come from here all the way up to the top, just like I did this. And I'm going to cut 2 holes in it, 2 big holes, or maybe just one large one. Let's make it so that it has the vent. And so it has the entire area open, but I need more structure. I need more stability, and that's my mission today. So secure, build that out, secure, and then secure some more. Yeah, totally. Let's get it. I really don't like firing brad nails in corners like this, but I didn't have a choice. And it could have caused a lot of problems, but thankfully it didn't. It worked out nicely. Don't do this at home. This thing is really heavy, but I'm working by myself, so I'm accustomed to these kind of things. Now, I put it up here so I can do the speaker placement and mark the holes, etc. But I also have to cut some brad nails that missed. No, I'm not just showing you all the pretty stuff. I'm showing you the gritty and the dirty and everything. You guys are seeing everything as I go. Now, this is a multi-step process, but I figured this was the easiest way to do it. So I angled the box off of the edge of my little stand so I could get under it, physically see the speaker in the hole, line it up properly so that it's, you know, dead center in that hole before I mark it, because once I mark it and drill those screws in, there's no going back. So I had to get this spot on. Let's get rid of those brad nail stickouts and pre-drill the holes for the speakers. Makes things easier later on. Now it's time to mark that hole for the interior that we talked about earlier. But of course, this being a custom build, as I was going along, our ideas are generated. I was like, you know what? Let me just use a great big 6-inch circular hole cutting saw and just make 2 large holes. And even then, I had another idea. Instead of doing 1 or 2, let's just do 3 and make a pattern and see what it looks like. I've never done this before. I'm literally winging it as I go because I had an idea. I have extra wood, so if it went wrong, I could just easily swap it out. But I said, hey, let's see what it looks like. And I had to swap the saw out because my dual, battery power saw was struggling a little bit. Now with a round over, it actually turned out great. Look at that. Couldn't avoid this one. Time to patch them holes. Yeah, my box looks like it's got a strange case of the measles. Yeah, that's that Czar patch. Every single, in case you're confused how many times, how many 1.5 inch brad nails. Yeah. The interior. This is day 3. Now for this kind of a build, yeah, a 3-day, yeah, this makes total sense because it's complicated. There's a lot to go wrong. There's a lot to go right. There's a lot riding on it. So yeah, and yeah, I continued with that. I love that look. I love that look. That's my new favorite look. Yeah, and it's also up here. Yeah, that's my new favorite look. So, and it's down there as well for the separator for that final woofer. So, final woofer, I mean the bottom woofer. So yeah, that's where we're at. This is a total PSA moment, public service announcement. Wear your mask. When you're dealing with sand and dust, wear your mask. Yeah, I kind of paid for it a little bit because I got all stuffy and miserable, and I genuinely felt like there was MDF dust in my lungs. Like, it felt disgusting. So, in case I didn't say it before, wear your mask. Whenever you're doing sanding around wood product, wear your mask, especially MDF. Now, that said, oh yeah, wear your mask. Now this hose kept grabbing onto the side of the box, getting my nerves. So I just put the original dust collector back on, and it was just fine because it held all of it till I was done. I need a nice flat 90-degree surface to screw onto, and to make sure that the braces remain square. So just trim off that little edge piece. It gives me a little bit more surface to work with, and of course make sure it's perfectly square. And I trust my table saw, and especially that brand new blade I have spinning right there. Oh, I love that blade. That blade just making everything cut like butter. Again, one more little trick, working by myself, I pick up a few tips there and tricks here and there, and so this is one of them. Just grab those clamps and it holds stuff while you keep your hand free. Handy. Oh, my little buddy, very handy. So all the pieces are in, so there, support, support, support. All those are screwed in, right? Now, if you're wondering about the ones on the side, I still got to run some final measurement of paranoia. Just to make sure that I can angle the woofer and slide it in when it's done. Yeah, so I use those outdoor screws, but I'm not feeling them. So I got these. These are no joke. These are serious screws, okay? And I'm gonna use them to bolster these guys because my confidence is not 100% with them. I mean, even though I put glue and these three, I don't trust those screws. I don't feel like they're biting into the wood like they should. So I'm gonna double up on the screws on this. There's nothing wrong with extra screws. Nothing ever wrong with extra screws. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if this math works out. Woo. This is a piece that's going to cover here. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, sir. First like that. Wait for it. And now they're all in. It's 7 o'clock in the evening. What am I saying? It's almost 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock. I'm gonna kill Vomit. Let go. So as you try not to touch this stuff, so as you look down on it, you can clearly see the line. I mean, it's like I said, it's a hallmark of wood and especially MDF. So even though it's been sanded thoroughly, 80 grit, scrubbed it all the way down, smooth as silk, finger going across, you can still see that line. Nothing you can do about that. Absolutely nothing you can do about that. Oops, sorry about that. Same thing there. You can see it, but when my finger goes across that, that's super smooth. So yeah, I'm gonna sand it. I'm gonna prime it one more time tomorrow. Well, after it dries, obviously. But but whoo, yes, Lord, thank you. Okay, well, we're done for the day, obviously, so we'll pick up this party tomorrow. Something called oil rubbed bronze. It's a weird color and I like it. I know they're not done, and that's just primer gray, but whew. I tell you what, I'm mad as hell. This is 4 cans of paint. 4 cans of this Krylon metallic aluminum, and it's still splotchy in a lot of the areas. Depends on the angle you see it. You see it's more obvious. There we go. You can see that, right? You see those little, yeah. We can clearly see spray can lines. So basically what they're telling me here is I need a lot more spray. Like 4 cans is not it, right? They're basically saying 4 cans isn't it. Like 4 cans, I need to step up my game. You see that, right? But some parts of it, nice. Again, nice. But then other parts of it, like, ugh. Those little dots was me kicking the box this morning. I was not happy when I saw this splotchy mess. So, let me show you what I plan on. Instead of 4 more cans of spray paint at $8 per can, I picked this up and I said, well, it's aluminum and the color of this is metallic aluminum. It looks the part ish, close enough. Alright, so I put the frog tape back on. There were some lines that were not cut straight that I got straight, so I'm gonna respray or repaint it. It needs to be straightened up anyway. And I did my best to follow the line and just ever so the slightest, so it's just on the inside of the gray. Then in areas like back here where I really screwed up the line, I fixed it. So it's a good opportunity to fix some wobbliness. Same thing there, some wobbliness to be repaired, etc. Ooh, okay. It looks almost exactly like that color. Let me show you what I'm working with here. Like, What the what? Yeah. So because I shook it up. All right, yeah, I did. I shook it vigorously. And it still goes back into this weird, I know it's oil-based, but dang. The look is trippy. Okay. The look is trippy. Like really trippy. So put about half of the can in here. Here comes my favorite part. I am a child. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Afterlife tape is no joke. I really wanted to spray paint this for that smoother, cleaner look, but I didn't want to take the chance and having that red paint splash and go someplace else, and I was like, you know what, so I got the red can a while back, but I initially wanted to spray paint this. And they do have a spray paint in that red pepper color. Krylon has one, and Rust-Oleum has one. But yeah, I really wanted to spray paint this. Now what happened here is a little bit of brush kind of flashed and got some red dots on the freshly painted side, so you know, I quickly dabbed it off the wet nap and took care of that business. While I was out painting, neighbors stopped by to say hi. Thankfully the camera's pointed down so I don't have to mask face off, but you know, pretty nice catching up folks. But I must say, this came out nice. After the painting got done, I realized there's a few spots are missing. Totally expected. It's, you know, not drastic, just little spots over paint. Some place that didn't get fully painted, where the back color is showing through. It's a little bit more up here, but down below just a little bit more obvious. I mean, not drastic like OMG, you know, call the cops. No, it's, but you can definitely see it. Now I have to take care of that before my OCD drives me crazy. So, how best to get into a really narrow place? A Q-tip. That's how. You know, yeah, Q-tips are for more than, you know, well, what Q-tips are for. You know what they're for. But you know, it's good for painting as well. Used very carefully. Very carefully. Okay. Don't dab it in there. You know, just wipe it on the edge. Get just enough of your color and just ever so gently just dab in that little corner. Squaring up some support for the speaker feet, so that when the feet are screwed in, they'll be screwed directly into these and not just the MDF. I was still having a paranoia moment, so I thought I'm gonna put some L brackets to further shore up that little area at the front of the speakers. I was just having a moment and I was just thinking maybe I'm gonna vibrate it out, you know, but I don't know what's wrong with me. I totally forgot that I'd fired some brad nails in the front, so I wasted time installing 4 of these. And in case anyone's wondering how I get them in here, I use my little gripper clampy thing to hold it to the place so I can, you know, work with my hands. Yeah. You know, I sealed it up. Yeah. Put some in some places there where I know if it's gonna go. Down below, all same. So she's all sealed up. Yes, I'm using my mattress topper because it's cheaper and it works swimmingly. However, the mattress topper is not the problem in this particular shot. Yeah, I almost choked. This glue is super strong. The fumes off of this thing is no joke. Wear a mask. Wear a mask if you're using this glue. Shh, don't tell the wife. I'm resting him on the little cushion pillows that goes up here usually. Shh. One up here, one down there. Don't tell nobody. I've been down here about an hour. Where's my clock? Zoom in. It says 6:49. Been down here about a good hour. And no, it's not screwed in yet. I just ran some wires. Because it's going to be in parallel, so both of these wires come out. The other one continues and it goes down to there, to the other guy. This one I've come up with this doohickey for because it's 12 gauge and it's pretty thick, so I fork it so that I can fish one through the hole and then twist it. I'm going to solder it, of course, and then this one I'm going to have to wrap around the terminal and then solder it after. But yeah, that's the game plan I come up with so far. I gotta tell you, this took so much longer than I initially anticipated in my head. I genuinely did not envision and realize the amount of wiring and work that was gonna go into it after the speaker got inside. I was just sitting there cruising along. You're gonna see how long I was at this. Just doing stuff, you know. I stopped, we'll get some food, and you know, came back, kept going, you know, screwed the MTMs in. It was so much longer, so much more hours invested than I initially anticipated. Inside here is two different screws. I use a 0.63s for the tweeters and the 1-inch screws for the mids. I used a combination of 1-inch screws and 1 1/4 inch backer screws for the woofers because I know they're gonna do the most vibrating, so I just want to take that extra precaution with the woofers. Yeah, my basement looks like a war zone. I'll clean up and done properly. But yeah, I gotta put seals on. You have to. There's no. Just make sure that's all airtight and all that jazz. So I'll put the seals on. I'm still putting seals on. Wiring almost done. I just gotta put the crossover in here, stand her back up. But she's looking good. She's looking real good. Real good. Problem is I don't think I can go much more because the time is, yeah, you see that right? Midnight. 12:05. I'm still up. This stuff, I'm here to tell you. If you're not ready to pay the price, put that dedication in, yeah, don't rush it. Don't rush it. I've genuinely decided to not stop. It's 1:30 something in the morning. I caught my third wind and I said, heck with it. So I just partially buttoned up the other box, and I say partially, I put like 3 screws in it because I'm still, you know, checking this thing out to make sure it's good. I've had really good luck with this brand of crossovers. I mean, I've had the last build, we'll use another version of this one, and I use it another time and it works. So let's see if I get 3 for 3. So that's kind of why I'm not locking it up. I'm just going to put 1 screw here, 1 screw here, 1 screw here, just enough to hold it secure so I can test it, hear what it sounds like, and then decide whether or not I need to just build my own crossover. So here we go. All right, so people say you should tin these first, and by tin you take your soldering iron and you just put a slight little gloss of solder on there, but my wires are pretty thick, so if I tin it, it won't fit through these little holes. So I'm going to do it like so. I twine them up pretty small, and it barely fits through as it is without the tinning. So you see what I'm talking about? So, come on. Come on. Take it up, and I bend it towards the soldering line, something like that. And the same thing with this guy, I bend him towards the soldering line. Okay, and I put it on the board, straighten it out so I can put a little bit of force on it, level it off nice and neat, and then I get my iron, get my little solder, and I put it directly on here. Simplicity itself. The simple fact that I could just sit down and do something felt so good. I actually enjoyed this soldering process. I took my sweet little time making sure everything was all lined up all perfectly. I probably took maybe 10 minutes to do this, which was about 8 minutes too long, to be honest. But I was enjoying sitting down. It felt good. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm putting in it. It's all testing. I want to say tomorrow, but not tomorrow, later, when everyone wakes up. I'll run some signals to here, but I'll slightly clean up a little bit so I can show you what the finished. Hopefully it don't take too long. I'm tired. Yeah. I just finished. And by just finished, I mean I just propped the temporary crossover in there. I'll test it later on because it is 2:21 in the a.m. Yeah, wife would kill me if I start bumping music down here this time of night, but I tested it on a low volume, a very popular song that I know, and bruh, I cannot wait. Even with the back of the box just tacked in with 3 screws, because it's a tight fit, it seals pretty good and it already sounds pretty nice. I am absolutely excited for later on when I test this out. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we pulled it off. I think we captured the look. I think we did. Oh, I think we did. Thank you, Lord. Before I put them in place, I had this idea. Let me see what mine looks like next to the real deal. So I staged them like they were in online ads. So let me see what I can do with Photopea. So I kind of quickly sped through it using the Photopea to, remove the background. Sorry, it wasn't taken against a perfect green screen or, blue background that I could just one click and delete. There's all kinds of colors in my backgrounds, greens, browns, tans, so carpets and a few other fun things. So hey, look, this was done, after a very long night of very tiredness. So I cleaned it up as fast and as best as I could, just to, get a quick comparison. Downloaded the picture and side by side, and you know what I mean? Not too shabby for a little backyard build, huh? Yeah, we can do it. Now let's do a quick test and hear what this bad boy sound like. Alright, so let's go ahead and wrap up this already way too long video with a cost breakdown. Now I'm not going to list everything on the screen because you guys can see that. Now the total price, $787 for what you're looking at on the screen, and that's assuming you already have 4 12-inch woofers that you want to use. If not, and you want to use the ones I have, these were $540 at the time I purchased them, which would bring your total to $1,867 for the whole kit caboodle. Now you can clearly knock that price down, okay? There are 6.5-inch mids that are below that price tag. You can probably get some for like 20 something bucks, and if you shop around you can scrape even more off. You don't have to go to a tweeter that high. You could go for another type of tweeter. It's kind of hard to manipulate the MDF numbers, but the spray paint and the aluminum paint, those are expenses I could have done without. I mean, if I had gotten wraps and like a bright gray wrap and something a fancy looking wrap, that probably could have done the job and saved me a whole lot of hassle with the smell that I'm still dealing with the oil paint. So there's ways that, you know, you can take that figure down a lot. You can take that figure down a whole lot just by, you know, making better choices. Well, not better choices, but making, you know, different choices with your materials and your drivers. Pause. Hold on. I did take a quick look around the internet and I did find an alternative. You don't have to spend that kind of dough. Just looking at Parts Express, I found woofers and tweeters and mids for way less money. And like I said earlier, the wallpapers would have probably been a lot better option than going those oil paints, because I'm still dealing with the smell. I have little buckets and containers of baking soda scattered all over my basement just trying to combat the stench. However, here is a much cheaper alternative to the price tag I proposed a second ago. The only reason why I went with that is because I already had that woofer. Okay, I already own those woofers, so I didn't go out and buy those. However, if you wanted to do this from scratch, from absolute zero, here is the absolute zero start price. That's a whole lot cheaper than what I pitched a second ago. For $717 all in, woofers, mids, tweeters, wallpaper, and everything else on that list, out the door, ready to go. That's a way better number than 1,817 and a significantly better number than 160 something thousand dollars. That said, this video has been way too long. I didn't think it was going to be over an hour, but here we are. And I never even talked about the Omni calculator, which, you know, I did in my last two, but that's okay. If anyone wants to know, I'll happily answer those questions in the comments. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We pulled it off. I have this epic build, this awesome sounding system. I don't need a different crossover because I already had that crossover. I could easily build one for, you know, less than 60 bucks for both of them, you know, because crossover parts are fairly cheap. So that's it for me. No more yapping, no more talking. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you sticking around for this long video. Have yourself a fantastic, magnificent, over the top, over the moon, beautiful day, night, evening, whatever time you're watching this. And hopefully, you know, you do a build something similar, you know, and, you know, share it because I'd love to see it. Anyway, thank you. Awesome. See you on the next build.